Welcome into Extreme Radio, everybody. Sponsored by GracePointe Healthcare. Presented, sponsored, scattered, smothered, covered, you name it, by GracePointe Healthcare. Go to their website, GracePointeHealthcare.com, newly launched. Request your appointment online, and you get $20 off your new patient office visit fee. GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Sponsored by Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs.
We are also sponsored by Jets Pizza, and specifically Springfield, Clarksville, Fort Campbell. You know, if you're in that area, go hit them up. But really, when it boils down to it, Spencer, no matter where you are, it's always a great time to say, let's get Jets. And I stand by my campaign that the BLT pizza needs to come back. No questions asked. It needs to come back.
Do you also stand by your campaign to get people to hate buying insurance?
I do. Hey, there's one place you can take care of all of that. It's our buddy, Joe Graves. He's at IHateBuyingInsurance.com. Listen, I need to make a T-shirt with this. I got 2 kids. It's like Heath Slater. I got kids. I got 2 kids. I got a full-time job. I do this. I don't have time for all that junk trying to sort through everything. One place you can go, IHateBuyingInsurance.com. Like I said, our buddy Joe Graves. Go check out their Facebook page. Website's up and running. Just all I'm saying is give him a shot. Just see what he can do for you. There's no obligation. You're not going to get on the website, get a quote, and then you're locked into a contract where you have to buy insurance with him. Just see what he can do. That's all I'm saying. That's all you got to do.
And there's only one thing I'm saying to start out Extreme Radio for this week. The last Sunday in August, there's only one thing I'm saying that you want to beat me to it, don't you?
What is it?
The game has changed.
All right. Well, this is going to hurt. Okay, hang on. Ready?
We somewhat rehearsed this. Stop the drum roll for a second. We somewhat tried
Tell me when to do drum roll.
We somewhat tried to rehearse this. I'm going to get it up on OBS right now and get it up for you guys to view. There's only a limited amount of interaction I can do with this on OBS because of it being run through a laptop, but we are incredibly excited. As soon as I get this loaded up, it just takes a little bit of typing and a little bit of love on this. And Mr. James,
if you don't hurry up, I'm gonna say it.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. James Shannon, 8-Man Extreme. We have a website.
What up?
8manextreme.com, the number 8, 8manextreme.com. It is live. Let me interact with it for you a little bit live. For whatever reason, I can't do the scrolling feature on here, but look at this awesome website. Right here, we got our social media on the right that you could click on that. We've got our YouTube videos here, the latest Extreme Radio and Extreme Talk on the website. We've got local articles that'll be posted on here in the main page. Let's look here at
Hey,
scores.
how about this? If you're a writer, you got a website to put your articles on now. Bam.
8manextreme@gmail.com.
Bam.
Contact us. Scores. We have a centralized place for all of the latest scores and updates. We will still, now to clarify, all scores will still be posted on the Tennessee High School football app. They will still be posted on our social media.
Which I do need to address that, Spencer. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
I do want to apologize for Friday night. Little hiccup going on. Was not on our end. It was on TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com's end with the app streaming their first game, so congratulations to them. But there's some kind of hiccup with the system that they were using. So, yeah, that didn't happen. But, of course, you're here, so now you can hear what happened.
Yeah, I think it may have been something with they were trying to stream on their website. It may have been something with that. We haven't gotten an official statement from it yet, but as soon as it comes back up and running. Did you get a chance to update all the scores on those over the weekend?
On the app?
Yeah.
Yes,
yep.
they are
okay.
updated.
So
that's how I did the social media post.
So it got fixed. So, yeah, we have scores on there. They'll be centralized. Let's look at here as well. Shows. Yep. Talks about our shows on there, so you can look. Standings. So now,
bam.
Now, of course, when we get to about 4 weeks out from the playoffs, we will have a playoff picture on the website, so you can actually see what the matchups are, who's number one seed, all of that. We're not posting it now, of course, because The NFL, at least they take about 6-7 weeks before they
There's
post
no
the
point in
playoff
it.
picture. Because right now, as it would stand, a lot of teams would be in the playoffs. But standings, we have them all centralized there. Everybody knows on there, hey, this is what the standings
Where's everybody's
are.
at? By the way, and also they are set by divisional standings.
Yep, in division. I can't scroll down on this. You guys are able to when you go to 8manextreme.com.
Which you need to go.
I'm not able to. It's the MTAC North. You can see there below. It's MTAC South, and then independent teams that we cover. The only one this year, Tennessee School for the Deaf.
Exactly.
Which they're on their last bye week. We'll get to that in a little bit. But continue. Team rosters. We've got living documents on here for team rosters. You click on those. And it gets you to a Google document, which you can print out. You can view that online, and anytime we make an adjustment to it, it's instantly updated. It's not a PDF. It's a living document that you can print out.
Bam.
So it's updated there.
Matter of fact, speaking of like that, I was actually just editing one of the rosters just so we can make sure they're up to date for you.
Yep, and 2019 schedule, we'll always post our helmet schedule on there when it comes out. So you'll be able to look at that. And, of course, the helmet schedule isn't 100% up to date because of Sacred Heart dropping out. And some
disclaimer
games
in there. A couple games
even
moving around that we'll tell you about.
Yep, does say it on the bottom there. And then let's look at this other page here. Contact us. So if you didn't have enough ways to already contact us on Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, Facebook messages, our email, this contact page is another way for you to get in touch with us. It'll automatically send to our email, and we can get in contact with you. And, of course, a page for our sponsors. We are working on that. It's going to be a link to all of our sponsors for the season. It's going to link back to their website so you can check them out, give them support as they have supported us. So you can contact them as well. My account, we'll get into that a little bit because that ties right in with Extreme Merchandise. Now, don't try and purchase anything just yet. Our merchandise is in the works. We've got a lot of great things cooking with that.
Go ahead and order it. We'll get it to you.
I mean, we will get it to you. Just
quicker than BSN.
You really want
I'm
to call
still
them
salty about that. I'm calling them out.
Gosh, okay. That's on you, buddy. That's on you for calling them out. But, yes, we do have a merch store that we're going to add some more shirts and more designs to that later on as we go through the season and through the rest of the life of 8Man Extreme, which of course, that's one of the first times anyone's talked about the life of 8Man Extreme. I think that's the first time I've ever talked about it.
Speaking of the life of 8Man Extreme, Spencer.
If you go to our About Us section.
No, there's not an About Us.
Not yet. It's
working on getting
soon.
A tab up for this, but the new tab is going to say Our Story.
Yep.
And it is the story of 8Man Extreme up to this point.
Yep.
Everything that's happened. It's a crazy story. It is told. It's told from my point of view, but again, I preface it all. It's not about me. It's just told through my point of view. I have nothing to do with anything that's actually, worked out. But it is told from my point of view. So we're working on getting that tab up there so you can read the story. A lot of new people to 8Man Football want to know how we got, came to be. Now you can find out.
8manextreme.com. Go visit the website now and see all the great features with it. And it is a great website, and that's where we get into who made this website.
Let me preface something too. The merch store. There is more merch coming. That's what we've got right now.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Come time for the All-Star Game, you can order your All-Star Game shirt on there. Very centralized. We're working with a fantastic person here in town to make that happen. Excited about that. But with that, and you can kind of tell if you've already gone to the website and looked at the contact us. If you're an OG, you recognize the tattoo that was on our social media earlier this week.
So maybe one person.
Well, a couple people. But I'm excited. There's a dude that has come back on board and kind of vanished after 2016. But he hit us up, said, hey, want to get back involved?
We
figured some ways out. He had an itch for football. He killed it with this website, folks. He got this done. We've been waiting 6 months for a website. He got this done in 4 days, and then it was just a matter of editing it from there. But J.D. Young, back in the group, back in the mix of things. He's not going to be a regular on the show or the game broadcast, just with the way his personal life is, work and everything, because we do have to work around it. We have lives. We got to work around all that. But this is an area he can work with. He's also going to be developing the merch side of everything. coming up with new shirt ideas, working on the shipping part of it. So just a whole new aspect that we have not had, and he's going to be taking it to the next level, and I'm super excited about that. So glad to have him back on board. He will be the plan right now is possibly to have him on board in studio next week. Old catalytic converter hit him today, so not able to make it. I think he had to drop the whole exhaust system just to replace it. It's just ridiculous. But man, I'm so stoked to have him on board. Just to have that camaraderie again of it's not just me and Spencer fighting stuff out now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got a third person, and now we can actually vote and get things worked out. So that's where we're at.
To directly quote our post from 5 days ago, sometimes to make things actually happen, you got to welcome old faces back.
Exactly.
Hashtag you can't live in high school forever.
Bam.
So we're really excited to have JD back.
And here's the thing. He has matured. I mean, obviously we've all matured, but he's matured a ton. He's not the JD from 2016. None of us are from 2016, but he's just completely different. I personally am super excited to have him back on board. I've enjoyed it. Just the meetings we've had, the talks we've had about business and everything.
Yeah, I was about to mention before of course we get into the game recaps that for those of you who don't know, we do put a lot into this, and of course not making it about us, but we had a meeting on Saturday up in Nashville. We actually met for brunch at Panera Bread. Had a really good discussion and catch up.
Tell everybody everything.
Of course. Hey man, we are about transparency. We're about letting the people know.
All right, so we ate a Panera.
Yeah, we ate a Panera, had a great meeting, and discussed. We catch JD up on everything, and we just had a great amount of discussions and such. And the vision for the future is very bright, not just with this website, but the many ideas that he brings us.
So again, like we said, this changes the game. You can go to the website. You can get your merch. You can go get your scores, your standings, your rosters.
Yep.
Yeah. Go get your rosters. And just a new place to contact us. All the shows, if you want to check out the podcast that I did with Shaka Hill recently, was fantastic. A lot of people are loving it, so go check that out. Yeah. Bam.
Extreme Talk is going to be great this week. We'll get to that.
It's good.
We'll get to that at the end of the show. But it's time to go into the recap of the games, everybody. Week 3 is officially in the wraps, and as I usually say, as we always go into, follow along on your helmet schedules from top to bottom, as you've got a message that is left unread on Twitter, Mr. Shannon.
We will handle that.
Going to have to handle that pretty soon.
Later.
So, Post-wise, we will start out with week 3 from top to bottom. The Bowling Green Christian Academy Warriors traveled down to Antioch to face off against the Lighthouse Christian School Lions. A close game, but only an 8-point difference. A lot better game for them than last week against the defending conference champions. The Warriors got it done on the road, 56-48 against the Lions. The second best player in the league, according to James Shannon, and Gage Holman, got it done on the road. And the Lions put up a lot better of a fight this week, at least, than they did against Lancaster.
Well, and first off, I want to start out with a shout-out for Bowling Green. Been around since 2014, 2015. Have played Lighthouse every year, and that was their first win in school history against Lighthouse. Lighthouse has dominated them.
There's a lot of firsts going on for Bowling Green.
A lot of firsts going on, yeah. But they've dominated them in Bowling Green, in Antioch, back and forth. And what about, like, the resiliency? I can't believe I just said like. What about the resiliency from Bowling Green? I mean, they're down 42-24, 7 minutes left in the third quarter. And, I mean, I'll give you a guess who took over the game at that point.
Gage Holman.
21-yard touchdown run. He pulled a wildcat. Or Thomason got hurt. Thomason didn't get hurt. Or not Thomason, Crow. He threw a touchdown pass somehow to Canby, 43 yards. Ran for another 16-yard touchdown. Lighthouse made it they said that we're not dying. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Christian Sharp, 2-yard touchdown run. Tied it at 48. With 24 seconds left in the ballgame, Gage Holman, 7-yard touchdown run. And that was the nail in the coffin. So, I mean, this was This was a back-and-forth game. Of course, Lighthouse and Bowling Green coming off just whoopings from CCS and Lancaster. And this was how you respond. I mean, and then you look at Lighthouse. Christian Sharp didn't get a chance to play last week, but he had a touchdown catch there. He had a touchdown run to tie the game, like I mentioned. Just 402 yards of offense for Lighthouse, 370 for Bowling Green. Aiden Hooper taking over at quarterback for Lighthouse, 9 of 29, 3 touchdowns, 229 yards. He ran for another 144 yards. Of course, Gage Holman, 15 carries, 146 yards, 4 touchdowns. Just, stupid numbers. But it looked like it was a fun game, and I wish we could have been there. Aiden Hooper and Christian Sharp picking up an interception. Gage Holman picked up an INT. So just a great back-and-forth game. And if you're Lighthouse, you still have nothing to be ashamed of. You roll into Springfield next week, or this week rather. I do think Lighthouse has a little momentum with the way they're able to show their resiliency. And how about for Bowling Green too? You play Franklin Classical first week of the season. You go up 12-0. You lose that lead. Classical goes on a 40-0 run, and then Bowling Green didn't do that again. They were able to answer and come back down 16 points, or 18 points rather, 42-24. Yeah, that's 18 points. Able to come back and pick up the dub. So shout out to them.
And, of course, Lighthouse has to use that momentum because they've taken one loss in the North now, which every win in the North is crucial, especially with it being only 4 opponents that you're facing off.
Big for Bowling Green, too, to pick up that North win.
Yeah, especially to go 1-1. That's going to shake up some things in the playoff order for sure. And Bowling Green, they travel down to Franklin next week against the Falcons. And as you mentioned, Lighthouse next week, they travel up to face off against the Patriots. And, of course, the Patriots they are no longer on a bye week. They had the 2-week stretch of just no games, which is going to be tough
brutal
on any team. But the next game, the Tennessee Heat picked up a game against the Azell Harding Christian School Eagles. And the Eagles we had the pleasure of calling their first 8-man football game the week prior, and they just performed as well as they did against Riverside, just held the score a lot more. 76-22, the final score on that. Not combined 100 points, but with guys like Griffin and Price still with the Eagles against the Tennessee
points.
Heat. It's very close on that score for sure, but the Eagles with Price and Griffin leading that offense, there's a reason why they won 76-22. And the Heat, of course, they're still struggling to get that first W.
Man, just that Ezell offense is insane. The way they're clicking so far this year. I mean, everyone knew about Katarius Price. Congrats to him winning Player of the Week last week, picking the votes up. But, I mean, you still got Derek Griffin, the quarterback, who just, I mean, you look at Price's numbers were crazy, but then you look at Griffin's numbers, and they're insane. Just the way that he's able to step up. Had some college visits there to begin the season. But Ezell just clicking all cylinders. Do want to give a shout-out to Kelton Copeland. Came back from an ACL. They're looking at him again. Might have tore it up a little bit. So we'll definitely stay updated on that one. Great running back in the league. And I'm not stalling. I'm trying to make sure that I've got all the stats right. Okay, here we go. Jadarius Price, 274 yards rushing. Griffin had 111 yards rushing. Coleman had 58. Braxton Coleman. Cam Hunt, 123 receiving yards. Just, crazy numbers. And, of course, the Heat struggling. They are struggling. But, and here's the thing about the Heat. Everyone's going to say I'm biased. But I have facts to back this up, okay?
They're 0-3 now.
Let's explain that. 0-3, though. It is a good 0-3. They've lost to the top 2 teams in the MTAC South right now that are still unbeaten. They lost to Freedom, who just won Friday night. And so they didn't get blown out by Freedom. Freedom pulled away at the end. They did get blown out by the other two teams, who, again, top two teams in the South right now. So it's not like those are 3 bad losses. Another thing, they're non-divisional losses. So it doesn't affect the playoffs at all, unless, it's a tiebreaker situation with Lancaster. But it doesn't affect their playoff standings at all. They're still 0-0. They still got their first divisional game coming up this Friday night.
They've got a tough divisional game on the road.
How about that
next week.
segue, Spencer?
It's
Well,
tough.
we'll talk about it later on
Yeah,
in the show.
it's going to be tough because they're traveling over to White House, the first home game of the year for the Colts, and following that, Ezell continues on their march as they have an in-division game. Their second in-division game, they host the Franklin Classical School Knights in Antioch, which is shaping up to be a potentially decent game. And as we continue on through the helmet schedule here,
speaking of Franklin Classical,
as we're getting to that, Franklin Classical, they had an in-division game against Riverside Christian, a tough loss for them, but a big win for Riverside, 50-22. The Knights got it done in Fayetteville, and of course that score isn't reflective of how the whole game panned out because we don't have a box score in front of us on that.
I got this.
You've got the box score in front of you. I don't, but
I got the recap.
For Crutcher, Ezell, and for Riverside, especially with Travis Creasy to come back from that loss against the Eagles the week prior, just a big move for them, and even bigger because of them now going to 1-1 of their in-South division standings.
Let me say this first off. A lot of people, say, well, you can't say that Josh Austin's the best player in the league. Well, they finally turned him loose, and he scored 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
It was 14-0. He scores. Of course, Riverside scores 2 touchdowns to make it 28-6, and then 3 touchdowns by Isaiah Austin. 3 touchdown catches. No, 2 touchdown catches rather. Yeah, 2 touchdown catches, 28-22 ball game, and he got the initial touchdown to make it a 14-6 game. So 3 touchdowns by Isaiah Austin.
Josh
Austin, rather. Josh.
He may have helped from the sideline with his encouragements to get those touchdowns, but I don't know if that is a stat line.
You're right. You're right. I got a little confused. So. But yeah, 3 touchdowns for him. But I mean, if you're at Riverside, you needed a bounce back game after that Ezell game. And I was interested to see the quarterback situation with David Black coming back, Jay Krubelski having played well last year. And I think we kind of have an idea that now, it's David Black's team. But they're also going to use Jay Krubelski maybe a little bit as a closer. Just kind of like finish it out. That way he doesn't get rusty. But he's a proven winner. He can win ball games. So it's not like you're throwing in your 8th grade quarterback who's going to throw 3 interceptions and let the team get back within a decent score, within a decent margin. So they figured out how to use both of those quarterbacks. And that's what you have to do. You have to avoid the situation of, quote unquote quarterback controversy that you could have. But like I said, Crutcher Ezell, I'm just going to run through this real quick. Had a 45-yard touchdown catch. 45-yard touchdown catch. He had a 65-yard interception return for a touchdown. Just goes off. Michael Black hooked up with his brother for a 60-yard touchdown pass. Just crazy numbers. 43-yard touchdown pass from Black to Ezell for a touchdown, or maybe it was Ezell to Black, one of the two. Crutcher Ezell continues to have a great year, along with Michael Black and Raymond Hunt, some of those young guys. Riley Hall just having a great season. I'm trying to pull up the stats for them so far in that ball game. I want to make sure I don't misquote this.
As he's pulling those up.
You were allowed to have an awkward silence earlier. I get this one.
As he's pulling those up, Riverside Christian, of course, they moved to 1-1 in division.
Got it.
And it's good.
David Black, 9 of 22, 271. Shout out to all these teams putting their stats on Max Preps.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. 9 of 22, 271 yards, 4 touchdowns, a pick. Crutcher Ezell, 8 carries, 162 yards, and a touchdown. He had 2 catches, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Let's go to defense. Let's see who led them in tackles. Crutcher Ezell, 13 tackles. Riley Hall, 16 tackles. Michael Whidden, 11 tackles. Whidden had 3 tackles for loss. So we had a sack. Whidden had a sack. Sammy Morris, Crutcher Ezell, Michael Black, all picking up interceptions. So just great numbers. 3 forced fumbles by Riley Hall. You can't argue with those.
Yeah, the Riley Hall, the senior leader, getting Riverside another win in the South.
Well, they've still got John Knotts.
Yep.
Trying to see. Okay, well, they might not have updated his stats yet, but he's another one of those senior leaders who's able to step up. Sammy Morris, another one, and I mentioned some of the stuff he was able to do earlier. So.
Yeah, Riverside Christian goes 1-1 in the South. Their next game is another in-division game, which is very crucial for their playoff seeding, and they face off against the St. Andrew Swanee Mountain Lions on the road at 4 p.m. on Thursday. And, of course, the Franklin Classical School Knights have another tough in-division game. They could go 1-1 or they could go 0-2 against the Ezell Harding Eagles. And we've got one more thing to address, of course, the game we were going to broadcast, the St. Andrew Swanee Mountain Lions and Franklin Christian Academy Falcons. We didn't get an official statement from Coach John Hargis or the Mountain Lions, but James has got the story on that for the Mountain Lions, and the official decree is that it is considered a forfeit. So FCA is 1-0 in the South right now, but James has got the story.
the situation going on. Obviously, everyone knows Swanee's situation is tough, with them being a boarding school. A lot of their kids coming from out of state, even overseas. So it's hard to get a significant amount of kids in the weight room, especially over the summer. They do have some local kids, but some of those local kids they lost to schools in the area. They also lost an assistant coach, so just kind of a rebuilding year. But I think they had 3 practices and pads. They were on only their second week of practice. They've got kids from, I believe he told me, 7 different countries. So with that, you just got to teach them the basics before you can even start teaching them the playbook. And then you've got to travel to Franklin Christian and play a 1-0 Falcons team. So he had a meeting with the seniors, just didn't feel like they were ready. The seniors agreed with him. So, and I don't blame him, honestly. I really don't. He's trying to teach these kids how to tackle. You can't put kids in a situation where they're going to tackle the wrong way, which there is a wrong way, but they're going to tackle them the wrong way, and then one of 2 things is going to happen. They're going to get hurt, another kid's going to get hurt, and they might get ejected. And then he's out the player for getting ejected because they're suspended the next week. So you got to look at all the parts of the scenario. And when you look at it, it only made sense for him to do what he did. Now, I hate it for the Falcons, basically 2 bye weeks. But, very gracious about it. Like you said, they do pick up the win. It is a divisional win, so, that works out for them. But, much love to Mountains Lions up on the mountain. Welcome to the Redundant School of Redundancy. And, hopefully they can get some good practices in and get ready for Friday night.
Yeah, especially Thursday night, actually, because they're playing against
That's right. It is
Riverside
Thursday.
On Thursday at 4 p.m.
It is Thursday.
And then Franklin Christian, although they have the technical forfeit win, they are still 2-0. And then they host the Bowling Green Christian Academy Warriors on Friday night.
No. Waiting on our interview to call, of course, a new setup. But Spencer, the other game that happened Friday night, wow.
Oh, yes, we still
have a game to go over.
I forgot about
I
our
thought
one
you
game.
were waiting. I didn't realize you forgot.
No. So the game, obviously, there's a lot of things we could say about that big game we had on Friday night. I'm kind of glad that we were able to flex our game, even though it was the unfortunate forfeit for Swanee and FCA. Although it was unfortunate that it had to be delayed. The final score on that, 42-22. The Lancaster Christian Academy Knights, they improve to now 3-0 on their season. And history was made on Friday night with the Knights dealing Christian Community their first loss since the end of 2017 when they played against the Lighthouse Christian School Lions. Not only that, but this is an interesting stat you brought up to me afterwards and posted on social media. The first time that Coach Jordan Flanders, although he's only had 11 losses total on his record, including postseason and regular, first time he has lost on the road in the regular season.
Yeah, it's insane just the numbers that he's been able to put up and the kids that have come through the program that he's been able to develop. It's truly remarkable when you look at the run. And I'm not saying that the run is over. I'm just saying that was a crazy situation. And I want to be, with something historic like this. Of course, they'd won 16 straight regular season games. Actually, I think was it 15, 16? Might have been 17. But a crazy run. Played in the last two state championships, won one, lost one. Played in both the last two national championships, won one, lost one. Just a crazy run that he's been able to be on. A crazy result Friday night. And so what I did not want to misrepresent as we recap the game, something historic like this. So with us we do have Coach Jordan Flanders from Christian Community School. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, man. I heard you got a new phone today. Is it sounding good for you? Everything good with it?
No, there was an attempt to get a new phone, but it didn't work out. So
it's probably an Apple. Am I right?
No, that's what I don't have.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
I'm very anti-Apple. So anytime anything goes wrong, I'm like, oh, it must be an Apple.
No.
Appreciate you coming on. Obviously, Friday was tough. Rough situation. I'm gonna ask right off the bat. For people that weren't there, might not have noticed. I know the traffic patterns. I know everything going on. It's very uncharacteristic of y'all. 7:30 kickoff. I believe you guys got there at 6:45, 6:50, somewhere in there is when I saw you roll up. So what happened with that situation?
Well, it's funny you said that. We thought if we would have showed up at 6:43, we probably would have won. But showing up at 6:45, just not enough time. No, we're working to. Obviously, we're north of Nashville,
right?
And so just our bus driver, our bus situation, we weren't able to leave till closer to 5. But we knew that. So we were already dressed. I mean, not sure if you noticed, we already had our pants on, ready to go as far as game pants.
I saw you guys walking in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd already gone through a warm-up at our field. The only thing we had to do when we got there was tape a couple ankles and then head on out. So we knew with it being a 7:30 kickoff, we were probably going to arrive somewhere in the range of 6:30, 6:45. But we had already done a lot of things routine prior to the game. So we did that knowing that we could have left school at 3:30 and then got there at 6:45. So we thought, well,
exactly.
Let's at least make sure that we've gotten ourselves taken care of before we get there.
You gotta love trying to go from north to south through Nashville on a Friday night.
Oh yeah, it's a dream.
Especially with them rebuilding 440 up there. It's just crazy with all the traffic and such. Coach, so you knew that regardless of what time you guys would have shown up or not to the game, you knew you had a tough matchup ahead of you in a rematch of the semifinal from last year with Coach Bragg and all the star power that they've gotten in the offseason and such. What was the main message you were giving to your guys and the rest of your coaching staff going into Lancaster this year on their home turf and facing off against them?
Yeah. Well, just to not to disrespect anybody from last season, but our toughest game we felt like game planning for was Lancaster last year in the playoffs, just because of all the different things they do on both sides or on offense, and then even defensively. So we knew it was going to be tough. They really only lost, if I recall, I can only recall them losing one player from last year. I'm sure they lost more, but Matthew Bowden leaving, that seems to be the only guy I can recall at the moment. It seems like they replaced him with two additional players. So we knew they were going to be loaded. We just main message was, guys, keep your resolve. It's been mentioned many times about how many seniors we have coming back this year, and it's true. We do have a lot of seniors, but we don't have a lot of returning guys in their same spot. We have one offensive returner in his spot, and that's Brooks Pugh at the receiver spot. Everybody else is brand new to starting a season. Avery Harper's a starting middle linebacker, and Micah Jones is a starting corner. Those are our actually only two returning starters in their spots defensively. So we knew early on in the season this was going to be a tough game. So I'm proud of our guys for staying tight. It was a 10-point ball game at halftime. It was kind of I think they scored 2 touchdowns in the second half. We scored 1. So credit goes to them. Excellent team, excellent young team. You can tell that some of those guys have been in the weight room. Look, the quarterback, it looks like he grew almost a foot. He can now see over the line, so we knew he was going to be better. And that's not a shot at him for last year. It's just
right.
He put up tremendous numbers last year, and I don't think he could see over the line, and he can see over it now. So everybody better watch out. He's coming.
Well, and I wanted to ask you about the seniors too. Everyone looks at how many seniors that technically you guys have coming back, but you mentioned how not all of them were starters last year because of the level of talent that you guys had.
Right.
How much have guys like Avery and Micah and Brooks been able to help some of these guys that really only got to see the field once you guys got up by a decent amount, or maybe kind of subbing in and out a couple plays? How much have they been able to try to help these guys get up to speed? Because obviously you guys had a great game with Bowling Green 2 weeks ago, so it's not that the guys aren't able to do it,
right.
But how much have they been able to help with that?
They're getting there. It's a work in progress. I think football, in my opinion, and I coach basketball too. But I think football maybe has it by an edge there. It relates to life more than any other game. So, we lost Friday night on the scoreboard, but we're kind of looking at it more like a lesson. Guys like Avery and Micah and Brooks, it's not that they weren't leaders in their own right the last couple of years, but the last 2 to 3 years, you've had Nathaniel Rowley, you've had Jackson Daughter, you've had Zach Rogers, you've had David West, you've had Colton Rollins, Isaiah Webb, Davon Jefferson, just several guys that these boys that are seniors now really didn't have to talk a whole lot. They didn't have to say a whole lot. This team was kept in check by those guys the last few years. So they're not only are they switching spots in some areas on the field, but they're also saying, okay, that's not the kind of Friday night's not the kind of game you want to have. So what do I have to do to make sure the rest of my team, is on point for the game moving forward? So, we talked about it before the game. The last couple of years we've won all the games at the beginning and then lost at the end. So this year we're hoping to just lose at the beginning and win all the games at the end. So that would be the
right.
Hopefully that strategy will work.
Well, and the thing about Friday's game too was, while it was tough, it still was not a divisional game, so it doesn't affect it. In technicality, it doesn't affect your playoff situation. But coming up Friday night, you do have a game that'll affect it. That's the Tennessee Heat, big, long rivalry.
Home opener
home opener, but on the same coin, they've still never beat you guys. But you're both coming off tough losses. So, what kind of things are you guys what's the message to the guys this week to get them ready for that, to kind of I don't know that I want to say rebound, but to put the game behind? I don't know how long it takes guys to process a game like that, but I know some guys it's immediately, some guys it kind of stays with them. But what kind of things do you guys do with your guys to help them get past Friday and say, hey, we have a game Friday night that every game matters, but this one really matters in terms of staying in that playoff hunt?
Well, I mean, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And it's not, and Lancaster had one of their starters out Friday night as well. So just, man, we'd love to play them again. We just, knowing that they're as good as they are right now, and then they're going to add somebody the next time if we get to see them again. We have that privilege. They're a really good team. So we play the Heat Friday night. Coach Scott, I know they're 0-3 right now, but they probably got to have the toughest schedule in 8-man. Definitely in the MTAC, but maybe even regionally. I mean, they opened up against some really good ball clubs. Freedom, Evangel, Lancaster, I believe y'all may have already mentioned that, but just those are really good programs to have to try to go out with. It's tough. So we're going to flip the switch. The Heat are going to be a challenge in their own way. They don't quite run. They don't run things similar to Lancaster, and we're back at home, so that's going to be a little bit different for us. But just getting back to the basics, I don't want to say that we had stage fright, but going out before the game, it was like, guys, keep your resolve. They're going to make plays, and we've got to figure out how to take punches and then deliver back. So
right.
Coming to this Friday, I expect us, we're going to work. We're going to get some things cleaned up. We lost Friday, but we didn't feel defeated. We feel like we're still a pretty good ball club. These seniors have won an awful lot of games since their freshman year. I don't know. I think y'all said 16 or 17, but these boys have actually won 20 straight regular season games up until Friday night, and that's a testament to them. And the coaching staff that we've been able to have. So it'll be good. It'll be a good opportunity for these seniors to rebound. Our program's bigger than just football. We're trying to teach them about life. And so they took a hit Friday night, but their goals are still achievable. And so it's going to start again this Friday night with the Heat.
Got to start a new streak.
Yep, to get the new streak started.
We just want to be a 1-0 streak at the end of Friday night. That's our goal.
Right, so. Exactly.
Now, Coach, what a lot of people don't know fully is that you the amount of responsibilities that you have, of course, being the head coach for the football team, the basketball team, assistant athletic director with the Colts, teaching there as well. And one responsibility that not many people know about is you're also the vice president of the MTAC board. And with the responsibilities of the conference and such. I do have two questions for you, administrative-wise. I know that last year there were a lot of questions, at least among the public and such, about which teams were eligible for the playoffs, and we didn't really get the official confirmation on that until about 2 weeks beforehand. So just to make sure, are there any teams that we should know about that are eligible for the postseason or not eligible, especially with the 16 playoff? And in addition, can you give us any early word on where the MTAC championship site is going to be, if there's any?
Yeah, I do have a few different roles this year at the school. So right now it's just football and basketball. So the burden's been lightened a little bit, but I also have a 6-month-old baby, so it's right back up to the responsibilities.
And again, congratulations on that.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you. No, as far as teams, to my recollection, and myself and John Horner, the president, we probably speak daily. So we are up to date on all teams. I don't believe they're right now. All teams are eligible and have been doing things in the correct manner, at least by the bylaws. I want to speak to last year, but as far as the championship site, we're working on a special place to have it. Our backup location that has already been confirmed will be Ezell Harding. So we have, if the location that we're looking to get at it right now does not work out, Ezell Harding's already agreed to be that championship site. They have a beautiful field, a great facilities over there. So they're well equipped to handle the championship game.
Yeah, so, we were there last week. It's a great place.
Yeah, in terms of course, the playoff eligibility, that's really great that all the teams are eligible. That gives them all more motivation than they already have to chase for the playoffs. Because just like you said about your team, the goal is 1-0 every week, just to have that streak going. It's the same for the rest of the teams. Right. And just like James said, with Ezell Harding, I mean, that's a great place to host a championship. But hopefully that special place that you guys have in the works, I know we've heard some things, but whatever place you have planned in the works, I mean, Ezell's a great fallback too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach. Last question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought you had something else. Something that a lot of people have asked about. There's a kid from last year that was on y'all's team, and he obviously is not playing for y'all this year. There was a lot of rumors, which, again, they're rumors. Oh, is he coming back to play? Is he not? What's his status? Whatever. So obviously he's not playing for y'all this year, but Derek Jefferson tore it up the last couple of years, especially last year. Had a great season. So what's his update on him? How's he doing? Is he playing ball somewhere?
Yeah, he is, and to address the rumors, nobody ever asked me, and he's lived with me for 3 years. So,
right.
If y'all wanted those answered, probably could have reached out to me on him. But his mom, lived in Baltimore, Maryland, and so I had his older brother Davon actually had started attending CCS in 2014, and because of just the school that they were zoned for in Baltimore was just not the setup that was beneficial for him, and so he moved here. Or he had his uncle or cousin, I apologize, was Dayon Johnson, who was the dean of students at the time at CCS. So
Pastor
he moved
D.
here Pastor D. He moved here and attended CCS, fell in love with the school, the environment, the Christian atmosphere. And so, Dayon Johnson ended up moving back to Maryland to be closer to some of his family. And so when that happened, Davon wanted to stay here. So he stayed with me. Derek was entering high school that next year. And so he would have been attending that same high school. And so it worked out to where I was blessed enough to be able to offer our home and then them attend CCS. So his mom just relocated. She's in the military, just relocated to the Georgia-Alabama state line. And so she's only got to see 4 or 5 games in person. She's been trying to transfer for a little bit. She was able to transfer down there, which gave Derek the opportunity to go to go live with his mom down in Alabama, and then now she's able to watch him play ball every Friday night. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. We certainly miss him, but family. It's a big deal to be able to be with your family, and he's doing well down there. He's at I believe Smith Station. He had a ball game this past Friday night. And so we wish him nothing but the best. I've been staying in contact with him. He's doing really well down there.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah, well, Coach, we like you said, it's important to be with family. We don't want to take any more of that time from you with your newborn, of course, and to stay with Shelby. So we appreciate you taking time out of your Sunday to come on the show and everything. And best of luck to you guys on Friday night and through the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right.
That was Coach Jordan Flanders. So we have early, we of course have early words on our end of what we have heard in our conversations for the MTAC championship, but we know now Ezell Harding is the backup. So it may very well be hosted as Ezell Harding depending on how things go down. But hey, we were there earlier. Other than the glass that blocks the camera, everything else is great about that setup. There's no problems to report.
But that's just a problem on our end.
It's on our end.
In terms of experience, game experience, there's no complaints.
Oh, no complaints at all.
It's a great setup.
So if Ezell Harding is the backup, I should have asked him about that middle school championship. Even though we cover varsity football, I should have asked him about the middle school championship. It's on Monday, Tuesday. Asked what the plan was for that. But, of course, that was Coach Jordan Flanders of Christian Community School. Always a pleasure to have him on the show or anybody else. Usually we get him on towards the end. We've had him on the show the last 2 years prior to the MTAC championship. But, of course, it was good to get his word earlier on in the season. Well, James, it's time to go through your picks. It's time to go through your picks, even though you went through them
how about
preseason.
It's not so much about the picks. Let's talk about the games.
It's about breaking them down.
And then I'll refresh everyone's memory on what my prediction is.
Week 4.
Which let me clarify something, okay? Let me say something. If we count the St. Andrew Swanee Franklin Christian game,
Nobody cares
Okay,
about your
let's
record.
not count it. Fine, we won't count it.
Yeah,
If you don't count that game, I am 9-2 in 3
nobody
weeks.
cares about your record.
And they weren't blowouts. I didn't pick blowouts either.
At the end of the day, you're going to predict one team horribly wrong. And you know who that's going to be?
I have no idea who.
The Tennessee Heat. To keep in with the streak of
got a right to be wrong.
2017 and 2018. Hey, you had a
You
right
got
to
a
be
right
wrong.
to be wrong,
So did,
Spencer.
You had a right to be wrong as well, and you did reserve that right in 2017 and 2018.
That's fine.
I'm just saying, it
That's
may
fine.
continue with the streak. 2019. Hey, I am fully happy with being proven wrong. I just know that for the last 2 years, you predicted the Heat to be very high.
I'm fine with being
on the
proven
rankings.
wrong, though. I'm fine with being proven wrong too. It just doesn't happen that often.
2017.
I thought I was wrong one time, and then I was wrong.
2017, 2-6. That's all I gotta say.
Totally didn't get that.
2017, 2-6. That's all I gotta say.
Spencer,
Follow on your helmet.
I thought I
schedules.
was wrong, and I was wrong.
I saw it.
Okay. All right.
2019
you got that?
football for Week 4. Follow on your helmet schedules from top to bottom. The Bowling Green Christian Academy Warriors. They're right now at a record of 1-2. They are 1-1 in the division. They have an interdivisional game as they travel down to Jim Warren Park to face off against the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons. And with the second best player in the league, according to James Shannon and Gage Holman, he's going to be coming down against the Falcons, who anytime you're playing at Jim Warren Park or anytime you're playing against the Falcons, it's a little bit of a toss-up because the Falcons they're well coached, especially.
It's a toss-up game.
Well, technically we could say all these games are toss-ups, but specifically when it comes to FCA.
Not when I predict them.
Except for 2017. When it comes down to FCA and Bowling Green, FCA, with the amount of high scoring that's happened from Bowling Green in the last few games and how well FCA is coached, it's looking like it's going to be decent down in Franklin.
Speaking of FCA, let me selfless promote my podcast that I did with interview with Shaka Hill. Go check it out on our YouTube channel. Anyways, listen, FCA is coming off 2 bye weeks. Bowling Green, huge win last week. I do think it'll be a good game. I've got Franklin Christian winning.
You going to break it down any more than that?
Nothing more needs to be said.
All right. And then we continue on. We just talked about it. Christian Community has their first home game of the season against the Tennessee Heat, and it's a big one. With it being in division, of course, Christian Community, they're 1-0 in the North right now, so they at least any team controls their own destiny. That's by far. But in this case, this very much could be the turning point for who gets higher seeding in the playoffs later on, at least according to your predictions. But with the Tennessee
way to leave South Haven out of.
Hey, we're getting to the South Haven game, but in this case, this game between the Colts and the Heat, it's still going to be a great game, especially with them knowing what's at stake.
The Heat have never beat Christian Community, and I don't think it's going to start this week. I've got CCS picked, and I think they're going to rebound. The Heat, obviously, they could still lose Friday night and be fine. It's only one loss. But
and it's only one loss in the North. That's a key thing to take it back.
Right. And I've got CCS picked, but they have lost some games during the regular season at home. Not in the last 2 years, obviously, but it could be an upset. But I do have CCS winning this one.
We move down to the South. Riverside Christian plays an early Thursday game against the St. Andrews Suwannee Mountain Lions. Of course, the Mountain Lions have not gotten stadium lights yet. I'm pretty sure that's in the works. But they, at least for now, any home games for the Mountain Lions are at 4 o'clock. Is that afternoon game going to have an adverse effect on who you believe will possibly be the number 1 or number 2 seed in the South?
No. And, I've got Riverside winning this game. I think they've got the ball rolling, and it's not a negative for St. Andrews Suwannee. Obviously with Coach Hargis still getting them up to speed. I don't know that their first game back, playing it against Riverside is going to be the most advantageous move for them. But, it's going to be a good wake-up call for Suwannee. Not a wake-up call, but a good, introduction for some of these Suwannee kids that have never played football. It's going to be great for them. For Riverside, even in the loss to Ezell, where they just couldn't get it done in the fourth quarter, they're still on a roll, And so I think they keep it going up on the mountain. I've got Riverside winning.
Ezell Harding continues their first 8-man football season, and it's their second game in division. They're 1-0 right now. They have a chance to go 2-0 against the Franklin Classical School Knights, who are coming off of a tough loss against Riverside. This game is very much a do-or-die situation for the Knights to get to the number 1 or number 2 seed slot. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a hard battle for them, but I believe you have Ezell winning this one, don't you?
I do. I'm picking Ezell, even with Classical having who I consider the best player in the league. I still don't think it's enough. I've got Ezell winning. They're going to move to 3-0 in their 8-man career, and they're going to pick up their second divisional win and keep the ball rolling until we have the immovable force and the immovable force and the. Help me, Spencer.
I have no clue what
immovable
you're talking about.
force. All right, if someone knows, you got to help me. I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, it's two big powers colliding, and it'll come at the end of the season, but I think Ezell keeps rolling.
Yep, Ezell's going to keep rolling.
Unstoppable force, immovable object.
There you
Bam,
go.
There you go.
Lancaster Christian is on a bye week.
Beat all you YouTube trolls.
This is the last bye week for the Tennessee School for the Deaf before they have their action in Week 5, but we have a great game that we're broadcasting this week. For the first time since 2017, throw a little bit of stat out there at you, James. The first time since 2017, we're going back to a South Haven game at their home stadium.
Let's do it.
Because, of course, last year MLK Park was not able to be used because they were I believe they're redoing the track around the field. But the Lions and the Patriots, back in 2017 when we covered them in the second to last week of the season, their win basically put them into the playoffs. It didn't guarantee what position they would be. It didn't 100%
Talking about South Haven.
Yes, South Haven. It didn't guarantee what position they were going to get in the playoffs or even if they were going to get into those semis because of all the tiebreakers that had to go with it. It depended on that Lighthouse Christian Community game, but it put them over the top in terms of a tiebreaker.
They helped themselves for sure.
It helped them a lot. I remember the look on not to bring up too much old stuff. I remember the look on Coach Zimmerman's face when I told him, "There's no guarantee of you getting in the playoffs yet." I remember the look on his face with that.
So this game, I'm excited.
It's going to be a great game. I'm excited to go back to MLK Park.
I'm excited to stay in Springfield. That's what I'm.
Of course you are. You don't have to go anywhere. I have to travel up an hour.
Okay, but when we do Franklin games,
you have to come down.
Roles reversed.
Yeah, you have to come down an
and
hour.
There's
every
two teams
show.
in Franklin.
Hey, you didn't even mention you have to come down every show.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Nah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
well,
I'm excited to stay there in Springfield.
Oh,
I'm excited to see this game. And I'm not going to say I'm excited, but I do think South Haven picks up the win. I think Lighthouse, obviously you got the ball rolling, tough loss Friday night. South Haven's going to come out of this two bye weeks, and they're going to be ready to play. They're going to be ready to hit somebody other than someone wearing a red South Haven Patriots helmet, and they're going to lay the wood to them. I think it'll be a good game. I'm really excited about broadcasting it, but I do think South Haven picks up the win.
It'll be a great game to see for sure, and to see the I believe the now junior quarterback Andrew Crawley leading the team and seeing how they'll face up against Lighthouse Christian School. Before we sign off, ladies and gentlemen, I did finally get an official statement from Coach John Hargis from the St. Andrews Swanee Mountain Lions. So, it's old news as of the end of the show, but just to make sure that he is heard.
Oh, I see what you did there. The show's not over, though.
Yeah, it's not officially over.
All
so, this is the official correspondence I have with John Hargis, officially what he said. We started school this past week and had to stay inside on Monday due to lightning. Heat index on Tuesday only allowed us in helmets and shoulder pads. Due to having 17 guys on the roster and 14 with 2 or less years of playing American football, I felt the kids were not ready for tackling, and it was a safety first. I'm sorry for it happening. If we would have gotten someone paralyzed, then I would have had to live with that the rest of my life. I will always put the kids first and safety being number one priority. Thanks. And that's always what it should be, regardless of what team it is. It's always player safety first. Lighthouse Christian School travels to Springfield. Not too far of a drive for them from Antioch to Springfield, maybe about 30 minutes, but we're going to be traveling up there for the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. It's going to be great to head back to MLK Park for the first time since 2017. That's going to wrap it up for Extreme Radio, presented by GracePointe Healthcare. Go to GracePointeHealthcare.com with their newly launched website. Request an appointment online. If you mention you're with 8-Man Extreme, you get $20 off your new patient office visit fee. GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. We're also sponsored by Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs.
And hey, I said it once. I'm gonna say it again. Jets Pizza, bring back the BLT pizza. I will campaign for that till you do it.
Is that all you're gonna say? Yep.
No matter where you are, specifically Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, no matter where you are, it's always a great time to say, let's get Jets. And
it's always a great time to say, I hate buying insurance.
I'm segueing, Spencer. Listen, you eat enough of that Jets pizza. It's good stuff, but everyone knows they got some healthy pizza, but everyone knows that pizza all the time is not good. But if you do want to eat pizza all the time, you need to look at getting insurance. I got the place for you. I hate buying insurance.com.
Worst segue I've ever heard.
No, the worst one's the one that Paul Blart wrote. Anyways, I hate buying insurance.com. Go check them out. I said at the beginning of the show, no obligation. Just see what he can do for you. Give him a shot. That's all we're asking. I hate buying insurance.com. You can check out their Facebook page. Hit up our buddy Joe Graves.
And all I've been asking for years is you to stop using segues because I fell off one once. That'll wrap it up for Extreme.
How can you mention newly launched website and not mention, folks, hit it up.
8manextreme.com. Oh, yeah, James, you forgot one more thing before we sign off.
What did I forget?
A bomb is about to drop on Thursday. Extreme Radio.
Well, I'll let you folks decide if it's a bomb or not. But for the first time ever, Spencer and I sit down and just talk. Not in a show situation, and just sit down, talk. That's Extreme Talk this week, Thursday. Obviously, before that, go catch the first two with Matt Bowden and Shaka Hill. But this one coming out on Thursday, me and Spencer sit down and kind of talk about how he got started, our whole history, and just pet peeves and stuff that annoys him. Yeah. But speaking of history, you can go to 8manextreme.com, and right now the way it's set up, you can go /our story, and it'll take you to the story of 8Man Extreme, tell you how we came about, everything that led into it. It's pretty insane, little long. I wouldn't say long, but it's a good little read. You can sit on the throne and read it. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. That is going to wrap it up for Extreme Radio for this week. Again, we are traveling to Springfield. The Lions.
You're traveling to Springfield. I'm coming home.
Yeah,
I'm coming home. Coming home.
The Patriots host the Lions. It's time for something we probably will never see in a Super Bowl matchup, the Patriots and Lions.
Wow.
We'll probably never see that. Who knows?
Well, we won't see a Patriots-Lions matchup, or we won't see a Super Bowl in one of those stadiums?
We won't see a Super Bowl matchup between the Patriots and Lions.
The Super Bowl's been in Detroit.
It has been. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we won't see those two teams face off against each other. South Haven and Lighthouse, we're covering that game Friday. On behalf of James Shannon, now J.D. Young, and all the hardworking men and women that make 8Man Extreme successful, I'm Spencer Tomset. We'll see you for the Patriots and the Lions on Friday.
See ya!